Prepare to forget everything you know about video games. Prior misconception and fear have us believing that video games dull your brain, or that violent video games make you stupid or more apt to violence. Studies are now showing just the opposite about gaming, actually. Now, we're not going so far here as to actually state that all video games keep your brain active in a way that other activities cannot, but rather that some video games, namely strategic, fast-paced, team-based games, or shooting games, have been shown to have positive educational, physical, and psychological benefits. The simplest one of these to discuss is the psychological ones. Although for some people, like people who have never played video games, or watched their children play video games, this can be the most difficult to understand. But look at it the way that Dr. Isabella Granick does, using her studies published in the February 2014 edition of the American Psychologist Journal. To her, if playing video games simply makes people happier, this seems to be a fundamental emotional benefit to consider. Dr. Granick's studies show that even simple games, such as Angry Birds, are able to at least improve people's moods and help relieve anxiety. Now, many games, like shooter games or randomly built team games, inspire intense frustration. But this is actually another hidden benefit to consider. Learning to cope with stress and building up a tolerance level for when things don't go as planned is an important life tool. With this in mind, stress is not something that most children should be left to deal with on their own anyway, so it is important for young gamers' parents to understand that their tykes playing M-rated video games may need a little extra help coping if they are to play these games. For most adult gamers, however, the advantage of practicing what to do when things go wrong help teach the brain to be more flexible in planning, and playing shorter games meant for light-hearted entertainment can help ward off stress. There are actually physically measurable benefits to video gaming as well. A study conducted in 2013 at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development investigated what effects video games had on players' brains. The study examined brains of people who played Super Mario 64 for 30 minutes a day for 2 months and people who did not play at all. Using an MRI machine, they found that the parts of the brain governing spatial navigation, memory formation, fine motor skills, and strategic planning showed a rise in gray matter. Study leader and senior scientist Simone Kuhn summarized their findings. While previous studies have shown differences in brain structure of video gamers, the present study can demonstrate the direct causal link between video gaming and volumetric brain increase. This proves that specific brain regions can be trained by means of video games. Another research shows that games like StarCraft can even increase a player's cognitive flexibility, which measures your ability to switch tasks quickly. These physical benefits translate into educational benefits as well. Playing specific types of video games can help develop certain skills. The study just mentioned also showed that players playing the same amount of The Sims as their counterparts were playing StarCraft did not receive the same benefits. So if certain games can help develop certain areas of the brain, then certain areas of the brain can be exercised through video games. StarCraft, for example, is a top-down video game. It is a strategic game where the player has an aerial view of the gaming field, with numerous minions at their command in a war waging with and against one or more human players. Just like swinging a bat or shooting a basketball, video games help players practice brain muscle memory, and this translates into better brain performance in real life. Role-playing games like World of Warcraft have been shown to help planning and decision-making skills. Not only this, but some video games, like the most played video game in the world, League of Legends, are actually granting scholarships as prizes to their best competitors. Despite what most Americans' opinion is about video games, and that studies still show that most Americans feel There is a direct link between violent video games and real-life violence. We are slowly understanding that this one-dimensional opinion on video games is flawed. Rather, there are documented benefits, physical, psychological, and educational. Studies are still being conducted to figure out which games have what effects on gamers' brains, but generally speaking, playing video games has been proven to help players' brains grow. There is still much research that needs to be done, but video games aren't as bad as they used to seem, are they? So the next time you pick up a controller or sit down at your computer, don't feel like you're completely wasting your time. You may actually be working to deter brain disease, or at least improve your mood, and everyone needs that at least once in a while.